toss, and they want the football. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, our ESPN crew on a pretty nice night, actually, in Minneapolis.
And obviously a confident Minnesota group coming into the game. The lowest scoring team in the Big Ten. Michigan's defense, one of the best in the country, leading the nation in a number of defensive categories, and they won them right away.
So Kenneth Allen has got it teed up. Jalen Myrick and KJ May are back deep for Minnesota. Last year, as you heard in the open when Jim Harbaugh said they beat us pretty good, Minnesota with a 30-14 win a year ago. And that sideline in gray uniforms for the very first time in honor of their coach that resigned on Wednesday. Kick about 5 yards deep. And Myrick won't bring it out, but Mitch Leidner will. And moments ago, in honor of his coach, Jerry Kill, Mitch Leidner had the Gopher flag and was running through the end zone and planted it down there in front of the student body in the end zone and then carried it all the way down the other way.
Well, he's not your everyday quarterback. He's different in a lot of ways. A big strapping guy. At one point, they thought he might be a linebacker here, and he plays quarterback with a linebacker mentality.
So the Gophers will start from the 25-yard line. Leidner a little over 1,300 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and has 3 rushing touchdowns as well. As Todd said, tough guy. And off play action on a bootleg is going to throw on first down. Too high and too long, intended for Drew Wolodarski. As we take a look at our Chick-fil-A impact players tonight. KJ May is the big play guy from Minnesota, both as a return man and as a receiver. Willie Henry leads Michigan in sacks. Jabril Peppers, we might see him all over the field tonight, both offensively and on defense, where he's one of the better defensive backs in the country.
Very instinctive defensive player, has a real nose for the football.
2 wideouts, both to the right side as Minnesota runs it for a couple, maybe 3, as Rodney Smith's brought down by Joe Bolden. And it brings up the first 3rd down of the night. And 3rd down against Michigan's not been easy this year.
No, especially when you're 3rd down and more than 7 yards, which they are right now. First time out of the gate. Only 19% conversions their opponents. That's phenomenal numbers. They rush the passer well. They like to pressure, and then they've got a couple guys in the back end that can really cover in Jordan Lewis and Jabril Peppers.
Rashad Still joins the wide receiver core for Minnesota. 3 for Leidner, and that's still in motion. Leidner down the middle, lofts one and has got his man for a first down, and it is Rashad Still. Pickup of 16.
Well, nice job by Still. He turned his man in coverage. He's on the left side of your screen. He's going to run a little corner route, and he turned his man around. And a nice throw with timing by Leidner. Knowing that pressure was going to come, he got rid of that ball on perfect timing.
Now Minnesota comes back in with a fullback in Miles Thomas.
I think their best opportunity is going to be able to throw the football on first down. They converted that 3rd down, but they don't want to make a living doing that.
That one's going nowhere. Ryan Glasgow makes the stop on Shannon Brooks. Both of the Gopher tailbacks from the state of Georgia. Brooks is a true freshman out of Jasper, Georgia.
Nobody has run the ball successfully against this Michigan defense. Even 2 weeks ago, Michigan State, a power running football team, only 58 yards rushing on 33 attempts. DJ Durkin, the defensive coordinator, done an outstanding job with this group.
8th play of the Minnesota opening drive. Leidner, plenty of time. Fires to the near sideline and out of bounds. KJ May had a hand on it, but ran out of real estate over there. And that'll bring up 3rd down. And on 3rd and 7, they got 17. And the last 3rd and 6, they got 7.
Yeah.
So doing well on this drive on 3rd down conversions.
But again, the numbers don't lie for Michigan. Opponents coming into the game, 19 for 97 on 3rd down against them. And Minnesota living dangerously right now.
This is a Michigan defense that pitched 3 straight shutouts. First time in a couple of decades that's happened. On 3rd and 10. Leidner hit as he throws. Incomplete. That was intended for Wolotarski.
Well, James Ross, one of those linebackers, the guy that got in there, came on a little outside stunt, came unblocked. Should have been picked up. It was only a 4-man rush, and James Ross came clean and got a shot on Leidner, and Leidner not able to step into that throw.
Peter Mortel will come in to punt. Mortel's knocked 18 inside the 20 this year and should be able to try to pin Jabril Peppers back inside his own 10-yard line. Front high spiral, and at about the 15-yard line, Peppers makes the fair catch. Jake Rudock takes over for Michigan. Quarterback transferred from Iowa. Nothing flashy about him either, really, Todd.
No, there isn't. He's just a guy that Jim Harbaugh calls an ascending player, which means he's getting better each week. He threw 5 interceptions in his first 3 games, 3 in the opener at Utah. It was only 1 interception his last 4 games. So he is continuing to grow in this offense. He's a leader. He's a mature guy. And right now he's doing everything Jim Harbaugh wants from that position.
So the Wolverines start from their own 15. Davion Smith, the tailback, they fake it to him. Rudock comes up, firing down the middle. Somebody got a hand on that in roots. Yeah. I think it was Jack Lynn, maybe the linebacker.
Jack Lynn had a chance to get 2 hands on it. Not able to come up with the interception. He had an open receiver. You see number 50 right there, his eyes on the quarterback. Otherwise, that's a completion over the middle.
A little Halloween thing going on for Jack. The stretch play to Smith, trying to get to the edge. Got about 3. Lynn was in on the stop again as we take a look at our Chick-fil-A impact players. J.U. Chesson, big-time player, both as a kick returner. They're using a lot of spots as well as running the football. 2 excellent corners in Murray and Myrick. Myrick leads the Gophers in interceptions with 3. So here's the first 3rd down situation for Michigan. 41% on the year, and it's 3rd down and 7. Rudock in the gun, getting some pressure. He's going to just shovel past it, and it's intercepted by Minnesota. Gophers have got it. Buddy Calhoun, the cornerback, with the interception.
Well, this is one that Rudock should have just run and tried to pick up the first down. He starts to run, and at the last minute he tries to flip it to his tailback, Davion Smith. Devondre Campbell got the deflection, and a huge turnover for the Minnesota defense.
The 7th interception by the Gopher defense this year, and it sets up their offense in Michigan territory. First interception suffered by Rudock in his last 65 passes. See if Minnesota wants to try to strike early after the turnover. They'll keep it on the ground, and that only will strike about a yard. Pickup of 1 by Shannon Brooks.
We mentioned some of the change logistically with the resignation of Jerry Kill. Offensively, it doesn't really affect Minnesota. They're the same setup. Matt Limegrover, the offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, he's still up in the press box. So their offensive play calling and signaling, everything is going to be the same. Defensively, they've had to make a few adjustments. And even for Tracy Claeys, he's listening to the offense on the headset for the first time as well.
Leidner under center now. Play action. Now he goes deep into traffic. Did he catch it? He did.
Well, they got lucky there because they have 2 receivers running to the exact same spot. And that's not supposed to happen. Brandon Lingen, number 86, is the guy that's going to come up with the football. Watch the tight end at the top of your screen, 86. He's running a corner route. The receiver's running in the same spot. They both put their hands out, and it falls in between 3 Michigan defenders. A little lucky, but they'll take it.
Minnesota in the red zone, and Michigan doesn't even allow very many people to get to that point. The red zone, that is. First and goal, Minnesota at the Michigan 6.
Leidner, a good, tough runner in this part of the field as well.
Michigan with a blitz. Leidner with a rollout, has time again, and throws this one in the dirt.
Yeah, only one receiver. They had a couple receivers out on the backside of the route. The fullback was the only receiver on the play side, Miles Thomas, and Gerard Wilson in good coverage.
Michigan chains up bodies defensively. It's second down and goal. Minnesota with two tight ends in there, Lingen and Wozniak. Red zone scoring on the year, Minnesota 80%.
Again, this Michigan defense has only given up a total of 65 points the whole season.
Straight ahead goes Brooks. Got to the 4, maybe inside the 4. And it brings up third down and goal. Jim Harbaugh in his first season as a head coach of the Wolverines.
Well, this is just a critical possession for Minnesota. They're off to a good start. Their defense got the interception. Their offense is inside the 5-yard line, but well, you have to capitalize. Against a defense this good, when you get this kind of opportunity, you don't want to have to settle for a 3-point attempt. I would expect quarterback run, but if they throw it, this tight end right here, number 80, is 6'10", a big target.
The run's going nowhere. Lost back to the 5 by Shannon Brooks, and a nice play by Maurice Hurst.
Yeah, great penetration from Hurst. He slipped into the block of the tackle. Ben Lauer, the left tackle, tried to cut him off, and Hurst was too quick off the ball and made the play in the backfield. And again, this Michigan defense, only 65 points the entire season that they've given up. Great discipline on that third down play.
Santoso's 10 out of 13 on the year. This is a 23-yard field goal attempt, and it is good. So Minnesota gets on the board first. Had a golden opportunity to try to get a touchdown there and had to settle for 3.
I walked off the practice field. I feel like a part of me died. You all know about the struggles, and I did my best to change. But some of those struggles have returned, and I don't want to cheat the game.
Jerry Kill, who resigned on Wednesday because of health problems. Jerry's had epilepsy issues and seizures that have been well documented, I guess. This is Mitch Leidner, the quarterback, before the game with the Jerry Soda flag. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jerry's a friend of mine, and I know he's home with Rebecca watching the game tonight. Didn't want to distract anybody by coming to the stadium, apparently, but not only a great coach, one of the great guys, and we wish him the best. And in his place now, as the interim head coach, is Tracy Claeys. We'll document Tracy a little bit here in a second after Jabril Peppers picks up the ball at the 1-yard line after almost fumbling it and brings it all the way out to the 42. So Tracy Claeys has been with Jerry Kill for 21 years. We were talking to him yesterday, and you said, you know, he's one of your best friends, not just the coach you worked under. And Tracy got very emotional at that point in our meeting. He's been the interim coach. He's been the acting coach. You know, he filled in for Jerry when he had problems a couple of years ago. They've been together forever, and now he is the acting head coach, or the interim head coach, I should say. And it may go on beyond that. We asked him, do you want the job? You bet I want the job here at Minnesota. But he said, I don't want him to give it to him. I think this staff has earned it. This staff's been together forever. He's not the only guy that's been with Jerry that long. Yeah. So great continuity and consistency with the coaching staff, even with Coach Kill not here tonight. 4.5 remaining here at 3-0 game. Minnesota, their defense right now looking at a Michigan team in their territory. It was second down at 2. Rudock, nice play fake, wants his tight end, and he's got him.
Yeah, that's the beauty of having a big target tight end who's got good hands. I mean, that ball would have been thrown way over the head of most receivers. I mean, he really got that thing up in the air. Jake Butts is 6'6", and he goes up and catches the ball at the top of his jump. I mean, that's a hard pass to defend because he's wide open when you throw it that high.
First down for the Wolverines at the Minnesota 31-yard line. Butt comes out of the backfield and sets up as the tight end on the left. On the ground, pickup of a couple. It's Derek Green on the carry.
Mentioned Tracy Clays. He's been with Jerry Kill forever. Started as a defensive coordinator with him at Emporia State and has been his coordinator every other stop after that. Southern Illinois, Northern Illinois, now at Minnesota. Well, now as the interim head coach, he's not calling the defensive signals. Jason Vowed is a secondary coach, is calling the defenses. Tracy's going to be involved in any adjustments they make, but this is kind of new territory for both of those guys this week.
2nd and 7 at the Gopher 28. They fake the end around. Rudock's got all day to throw. Finds his man, first down. Good throw to Smith out of the backfield. Real
good decision. He was looking for Jehu Chesson on a crossing route. They were going for a big play, a touchdown kind of play, and Davion Smith was the outlet. Watch 86 now cross the formation. He's going to run the crossing route, and he's not open. Minnesota covers him, and Rudock did the smart thing. Dump it down to your check down and get a positive gain, get a first down.
Michigan 24 out of 25 in the red zone, and that includes 17 touchdowns. So they got it at the Minnesota 13. The fullback straight ahead. That's Carriage, one of their captains inside the 10-yard line.
That's interesting. You just don't see many teams anymore in college football that play with a fullback. And not only does Michigan play with one under Jim Harbaugh, they give him the football. I mean, that run by Carriage was the 26th rushing attempt by a Michigan fullback this year. That's almost unheard of in college football anymore.
That's the 10th carry by Carriage. 2nd down and 6. They can get a first down around the 3. Smith trying to break a tackle, holding on for dear life is Devondre Campbell. And he brings him down just short of the first down, I believe.
See a little bit of the power of Davion Smith, a very physical runner. 5'11", almost 230 pounds, out of Warren, Ohio. Breaks through arm tackle.
7th play of the Michigan drive. 3rd down, less than 1. And it's Smith behind his fullback and 2 tight ends in there. Power football. It's a fullback again getting a little sugar, and he's got it 1st and goal. Last time we saw a fullback have 2 carries on 1 drive was 1967.
Or a Stanford game, maybe, when Jim Harbaugh coached there, too. It's just a quick hitter. You get double teams. Good push up front by the Michigan offensive line. You know, one of the things about this Michigan offense, these 5 offensive linemen have started at the same position every game. Great continuity. They're getting better and better each week. Running the football.
Power football right now. 3 tight ends in there for Michigan on 1st and goal. It's the fullback again, and it's a Michigan touchdown for Carriage. 3 fullback runs. That's Jim Harbaugh football.
Well, they get the double team by the right guard and the right tackle. They bring an extra offensive lineman in, and it's just straight ahead. Power drive football. Watch the double team here. The center gets a block and give it to the up back.
Extra point by Kenneth Allen. Snap was a little bit low. They got the hold down. He got the extra point through. And with just 38 seconds remaining in the half, in the first quarter, I should say, Michigan taking the lead 7-3. That's some pretty good costumes here tonight. That's just a real bad slam on the punter for Michigan from what happened 2 weeks ago. For Blake O'Neill, the disaster against Michigan State on the last play of the game. and Minnesota will bring it out to the 25. 3 wideouts for Leidner to the top, and it's Smith straight ahead. He got the penalty yardage +1 back, pick up 6, and that should take us to the end of the first quarter. And it will on this Halloween night. Michigan on the road. The Big Ten leading the Golden Gophers 7-3. Start the second quarter. Brad Nessler along with the guy that dressed up like Todd Blackledge. You know, the costumes tonight for the Gophers in honor of their coach Jerry Kilner resigned on Wednesday. They came out in gray uniforms for the first time. A lot of emotion this week. That only carries you so far, I guess.
Well, and you know, they've done a good job of managing it. They did have emotion, but they're trying to play with passion, and that's something they can sustain for the rest of the game. And I think that they've handled it very well so far. They've played that first quarter pretty solid.
Well, they trail 7-3 as we start quarter number 2. Jake Rudock's been intercepted once. That led to the Minnesota field goal. Here it is, third down again. They managed third down beautifully early in their first drive. Picked up a 3rd and 7, a 3rd and 6. They've got another 3rd and 6 right here.
They've had some success getting the ball to KJ May, putting him in motion and moving him and getting him on the run.
2 of 4 on their third down conversion so far. Need to get to the 35 to pick up a first down here. Leidner down the middle, and looking for a flag is Wolverines, and he's not going to get one. Jabril Peppers was covering.
There was contact, but no call. Peppers working on Wolverines.
So that'll bring out the punting unit, and Peppers, who just made the play, is back as the return man, and he's dangerous back there. Averaging a little over 10 per punt return.
Had a career-long punt return against Michigan State in their last game, and a career-long kickoff return.
His punt return was 34. Kickoff return was 49. And Mortel, you look behind him as he sends a line drive on the fly. Peppers at the 32, and he's off to the races. Peppers, one man to beat. He didn't beat him. Mortel saved a touchdown. The punter brings him down. But a 41-yard punt and a 41-yard return.
Well, this was not a good kick. It was too low, and Peppers was able to field it on the fly. I mean, he didn't even have to make the first guy miss because he was at full speed when he caught the football.
Heck of a tackle by 37, or this would have been a touchdown. As it is, the punt return by one of our impact guys sets Michigan up at the Minnesota 29. Rudock wants to throw on first down. Fires too far in front of his intended receiver, and that was J.U. Chesson.
He did a nice job of moving in the pocket. Hendrick Ekpe was bringing pressure from the outside, and he does a nice job. Watch as Ekpe comes from the outside. Watch Rudock just kind of move in the pocket and give himself another extra second, just not able to connect on the throw.
They bring the other fullback in. Homa. Smith got nailed at the line of scrimmage. Ekes out a couple of yards, actually, with second effort.
Big play right here for the Minnesota defense. They played very solid football in the first quarter. They had the lead early. They gave up the touchdown. They need to get a stop on this third down play. This is a team coming in that only averages 20 points a game against the #1 defense in the country. They can't afford to let this thing get stretched out.
If they can give up a 41-yard punt return and force a punt, that would be a huge feather in their cap. Rudock pressured a little, throws, and this one's complete, and he's got a first down.
Boy, once again, nice work in the pocket by Jake Rudock. He knows there's pressure. He takes a major shot from Timms as he releases the football. But watch Rudock just find another open space, deliver the ball, knowing he's going to get shot or get hit, and makes a nice throw.
He did get leveled as he let go of the ball. So back in the red zone for the Wolverines at the Minnesota 14-yard line. dual tight ends again in for Michigan.
Unbalanced line, extra lineman in.
And Smith at about a yard. Here, and Cochran made the stop. There's Peppers over there on the sideline. He has played some offense already tonight. Has the long punt return that set him up in scoring range again. Second down and 9 for Jim Harbaugh's Wolverines. High backfield this time with Smith. They fake it to him. The throw to the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown. And it's J.U. Chesson. Nice throw by Rudock on that one.
Really nice throw. He knew the safety was coming over from the middle of the field, and he throws that ball a little bit short and makes his receiver stop before the safety gets there. Really well done. Duke McGee, number 8, was coming to help from the inside, and Jake Rudock put the ball in the right spot.
So Rudock 7 out of 11. His touchdown, the 6th of his season, and it was a strike. Just a 29-yard drive in 5 plays. J.U. Chesson, that's his first touchdown catch of the year, and it puts Michigan in front 14-3. Chesson knows he's going to take a shot from that safety, and he held on. This one returnable. Myrick across the 20, out near the 25-yard line as we check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, you've spoken about the resignation of Coach Jerry Kill. It has been such an up-and-down emotional week here for the Minnesota Gophers. Quarterback Mitch Leidner told us, you know, I knew something was up Tuesday evening when I got a text that said we had a team meeting at 7:15 a.m. on Wednesday morning. He said, I couldn't sleep all night knowing it must be bad. They got there, and there was Coach Kill with his wife Rebecca and his daughter, and told them the news. He said, you know, every single one of us on this team, on this staff, is here because of Coach Kill. It has been a very difficult week moving on without their leader, but they'll try to fuel that passion and that energy tonight in a positive way.
And they're wearing those gray uniforms in honor of Jerry. Jerry, who ordered those up, they wanted an alternative uniform for the kids, and they had never worn them until tonight. Tracy Clay says, I'm not crazy about them, but we're wearing them for Coach. So if you're turning on and you go, where's the Minnesota maroon and gold? You still got the gold, but tonight it's the gray and golden Gophers. 15 winning seasons out of 21. The reigning Big Ten Coach of the Year from a season ago. Done so much for this program here and reviving and making Gopher football relevant again. And not only for the football program, the community in the whole state of Minnesota. Jerry's the only thing better than a good coach is a great guy. There's a throw out, complete to the tight end Lincoln. He's got a first down. Gophers here with a first down at the 43.
Minnesota needs to be better on first down. They've run 9 first down plays, only gained 11 yards. They've got to be more efficient.
Wolverines with a blitz. Leidner comes up firing, got it to KJ May. Did KJ hold out? He did. Tough catch.
See, that's a first down win. It's positive yardage. It gives you second and manageable, which ultimately should lead to a third and manageable if you don't convert on second down. I love throwing on first down, but you just can't come up empty and put yourself in a hole against a defense like this.
KJ got it right to midfield. Third down, and this time it's 2. And Leidner's got the 2 and a bunch more. That's where he really comes in handy. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there. Pick up of 12.
Well, they got James Ross. Again, Ross is a veteran linebacker, but watch the top of the screen, number 15, guy that gets caught in no man's land. Whether to take the back or the quarterback, a good read by Leidner, and another conversion on 3rd and short. The run on second down by Brooks was huge because it gave them the option to run on that 3rd and short.
At the 25-yard line. Gophers with another first down. Brooks got a block from his quarterback and spins his way for another first down. 11-yard gain. Nothing like having your quarterback lead the way. We talked about Mitch Leidner being a tough dude. Todd and I talked about it yesterday. We said, who's he remind you of? And you and I looked at each other and said, Joe Cap.
Yeah, just give him a single bar. He's playing in the right state.
Old number 11. He led the Vikings to the Super Bowl after the '69 season. 8th play of the drive. First down at the 14. Leidner keeps it again. Well, he runs right into Peppers and picked up maybe a yard.
See, there's no sliding with this guy. I mean, he's not going to get to the perimeter and outrun somebody, so he thinks his best option is to try to run through a guy.
There was a time at Minnesota here, he said, I thought they were going to make me a linebacker. And they said, what did I get myself into here?
Yeah.
Well, he plays with a linebacker mentality from the quarterback position.
6'4", 237 pounds, and a real tough guy. Great leader.
Second down and 9. Looking left, throwing left, and incomplete. Peppers breaks it up. Wolotarski had a hand on it, just couldn't hold it.
Now, Jabril Peppers is truly one of the best defensive football players in the country. We've seen him as a return man. He played a couple downs on offense, but this is his natural thing, is defending the pass. Very instinctive, great ball skills.
Wow.
That's just great defense.
Played over the top, basically, to break that one up. And it forces Minnesota into a 3rd down and long. 3rd and 9. They need to get down to the 4-yard line for a first. May in motion. Leidner goes to the end zone. May had it in his hands, out of his hands. And Wilson and Lewis are back there.
Well, Michigan expected the ball to go to KJ May as well. Watch double coverage, bracket coverage inside and out on KJ May. That's a difficult way to try to throw the football.
It'll force a field goal attempt by Santoso, who hit from 23 earlier. This one 30 yards on the way and right down the middle. So Minnesota battles back. Good answer. Would have loved the touchdown, but they do cut it to 14-6. Happy Halloween. Some of the pictures of some of the kids of our crew.
Colonel Sanders.
There's an official Wolverine on the left, Batman in the middle. We actually saw a few scary sights last night with our particular get-together.
But we were safe in the presence of Wonder Woman.
Yes, we were. Holly Rose, Wonder Woman, with her invisible jet and her golden lasso to keep everybody in line. So Minnesota goes on a 62-yard drive in 11 plays. A little over 4.5 minutes to get the field goal by Santoso to make it a one-possession game, 14-6. Santoso to kick. Peppers, who had a nice punt return earlier, along with Chesson. Back for Michigan. And this one's going out of the back of the end zone. I don't know if that guy can see the game or not. It's always great to have a football game on Halloween night. Whoa. Nice rush by Minnesota, but Butt got the pass as Rudock got hammered as soon as he let go of the football.
When you run a bootleg, you tell the quarterback you got to get your head and eyes around quickly. And this is why. You never know who's coming to your backside that way. And Rudock does a nice job of getting rid of the football and absorbing the hit.
He's taken some pretty good shots tonight as well.
Minnesota.
6 out of 7 since his interception. Here's a pitch on the get around. It's Peppers, got a nice block and tripped up right about at the first down marker. He got it.
Well, again, Michigan looking for a little spark in their running game. Peppers in the game, a little pitch back to him. Before that play, only 24 rush yards on 10 carries for Michigan, and Peppers gives them the best run of the night.
And remember, we showed you that graphic in their 5 wins, around 226 yards a game. Struggling in that area a little bit, as Todd just said tonight. First down at the 36. Straight ahead run. And it's about 3 for Derek Green as we check in with Holly.
Well, we asked Coach Jim Harbaugh of Michigan what his quarterback, Jake Rudock, is doing well. And he said, you know, he's got a commanding presence. He makes all the throws. He makes the appropriate throws. But the thing that I really, really, really love about him is he does not get rattled. I have not seen him shaken, and I've tried to shake him. Todd said, hey, have you talked about his mama? And he kind of looked at Todd like, what? That did not occur to him, so I don't think it's happened.
No. Strictly football stuff.
Play action, Rudock, plenty of time. And had it knocked down, almost intercepted by Jack Lynn. That's the second time he's gotten his hands on a pass tonight.
Nice work by the linebacker in zone coverage. He has his eyes on the quarterback. Jack Lynn's right here in the middle of the screen. Linebacker, eyes on the quarterback, moving with the quarterback's eyes, and gets a hand on the football.
Big third down here for the Minnesota defense, and the fans are aware of that. Third down and 2. And they're going to do the bootleg again, and Rudock's got to throw this one on the ground, and it's Theron Cochran who is applying the pressure again.
Well, Cochran made up for his mistake. He jumped off sides the play before, and this time he shows great pressure. Watch him right here get up the field and chase the quarterback on the bootleg action, and forces Rudock to throw the ball away.
That's a huge stop for Minnesota.
Sure was.
Forcing a punt. They'll get the football back with 5.5 minutes to go. Only 1 timeout remaining. And the kick is going to bounce out of bounds. Minnesota had a couple of guys run over each other back there. But they've got decent field position to work with 5:39 remaining in the second quarter. With that, Santoso 2 field goals. That's where Minnesota's gotten their points. Here's Rodney Smith into the secondary. Best run of the night, all the way out to the 47-yard line. 22-yard pickup.
Well, the left guard, Bjorklund, is going to pull. Watch number 73 pull and get knocked on his butt. I mean, he gets hit in the hole, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't slow Rodney Smith down. He took 2 defenders out of the play, and Rodney Smith right up on the inside for a big run.
One of his longer runs of the season. 22 yards out to the 47, where it's 1st and 10 Minnesota with just over 5 minutes remaining in the half.
Minnesota's offense has been pretty good in this first half. They've actually outgained the Michigan Wolverines.
This time spinning to the line of scrimmage is Smith, and that's it. Ryan Glasgow, one of the first Wolverines there from his defensive tackle spot.
When you're playing against a team that's played as well as Michigan's defense has this season, you just have to take advantage of the opportunities to make big plays.
Of course, that's after that graphic and statistic after they went 3 games without giving up any points.
Yep.
Leidner throws on the run. Caught by Still, and he's still running. Touchdown. Rashad Still, a freshman from Leidner, 52 yards, the longest pass play of the year for the Golden Gophers.
I'll guarantee you Jeremy Clark's over on the sideline saying, I couldn't have covered him any better than I did. How was I to know the quarterback was going to throw it behind the receiver?
Right now, Santoso's in for the point after. As Tracy Claeys apparently decided, let's take 1 here and not push it. 2-point conversion ties the game. But we got a lot of football left.
A lot of football.
Just like that, Minnesota goes 76 yards in 3 plays. And the capper, Leidner's touchdown pass to number 88. Great move, stiff arm, got a block. That's all she wrote. Michigan 14, Minnesota 13. Coming into the night, there were some teams without a 45-yard plus completion, including both Michigan and Minnesota. Todd just wiped that one out. 52-yard touchdown pass from Leidner to Still. And we'll bring it out to the 25 as we take another look at the touchdown.
Well, again, Rashad Still's working one-on-one against Jeremy Clark right here. And he's going to run a corner route, and Jeremy Clark is in perfect position in coverage. He's right on his hip. If that ball's thrown outside like you would expect, he knocks it away. Instead, the ball was thrown on the back shoulder on a corner route, which is highly unusual, and Still turns it into a touchdown.
Minnesota with 10 unanswered points, and now they got the crowd into it really for the first time tonight. They trail by 1. They give it off to Drake Johnson on a draw play. Follows his blockers, gets across midfield to get 5 and into Minnesota territory at the 48-yard line. A little over 3 minutes to go. Michigan has all of its timeouts remaining. Minnesota had to use 2 early in the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game.
You wonder why we're seeing more of Jabril Peppers. Michigan in the football game so far. 141 total yards, 0 impact plays. They've not had one explosive play in the ball game yet. Minnesota has had 5.
And here they are hanging with number 15 Michigan and doing more than hanging. Actually, they're playing really well.
Well, they're doing a great job against the run. Michigan only 52 yards rushing in the first half. And when you do that, you kind of make a team play one-handed. And they've been able to kind of dictate what Michigan has to do to try to move the football.
And look at that sideline. The sideline and the band got it all going on right now. It's a fired up Minnesota team. And they know, should they be able to get a stop here, they'll get the ball back. 3rd down and 6.
Jake Butt is a guy to watch on this play.
Rudock overthrew his man in the flat. Drake Johnson. Not a good throw that time by Rudock. And it is 4th down.
Yeah, he got his footwork kind of messed up on that 3rd down play.
This might be no man's land. They might go for this.
It looks like they are.
At the 37. Punt might not do them any good. They're too far out for a field goal, so here comes a 4th down. Michigan 4 out of 11 on the year, and their 4th down conversions. This is a pretty big one. 4th down and 6.
And this is where I think you watch Jake Butt, number 88.
Rudock, pressure coming from the back. Ball is out. He was hit by Eric Murray on a corner blitz. I'm not sure Minnesota doesn't have the football. No signal yet.
It looked like Rudock was trying to throw the football.
They do have the ball.
Well, the back, Drake Johnson had to pick up somebody on the inside. Watch Drake Johnson pick up here, and nobody gets Murray coming from the outside.
Not only gets the sack, the ball bounces around, and he's got a nose for it and ends up with a fumble recovery. Captain of the defense.
Well, he's lined up over the slot, so he didn't have very far to run on that blitz, and he timed it perfectly. And Jake Rudock with his 2nd turnover of the ball game.
Play action. Leidner fires deep in the middle. Tipped, caught again. An underthrown ball, and this time it's Lincoln, the tight end.
Mitch Leidner is living right. I'm telling you. Ball a little bit underthrown. It was hanging in the air. DeMonte Thomas got a hand on it, but credit Leidner for not losing concentration on the football. 254 yards of offense in the first half against a team leading the country in total defense.
They fake it to Brooks. Leidner loads again, getting pressured. Throws to the corner of the end zone. Broken up. KJ May had a hand on it. Jordan Lewis was in coverage.
Jordan Lewis is an outstanding cover corner. We've talked about Jabril Peppers, but they got another one in Jordan Lewis. He is right there step for step with KJ May and rips the ball out.
Telling you, considering Chris Wormley was right in the grill of Leidner, that's a pretty good throw.
Yep. Good throw and a great play by Jordan Lewis.
Willie Henry is back in, by the way, at defensive end, so he's all right. 23 seconds till halftime. And a couple yards to the 15 for Shannon Brooks. And the clock will wind down. Again, Minnesota can only stop it once.
Well, it looked like Tracy Claeys is playing for the field goal.
Yep.
Going to let the clock go down and call timeout. The run kind of a wasted play unless this is what your strategy was all along.
Again, Mortel to hold. Santoso from 32. Tucked it inside the right upright. 3 for 3. Minnesota 13 unanswered points in the final 7.5 minutes of half number 1. And they go to the locker room at halftime, halfway to the Little Brown Jug. Minnesota in front. 16-14.
Coach, you wanted your team to balance the emotion with execution. How do you think they've done in the first half?
I think they've done really well, and we talked a lot about passion, and you know, passion's a lot more consistent, and emotion could get you in trouble, and they're doing a great job so far keeping us in the game. We got to play better on defense on on third downs, and special teams got to protect our field territory better, and we'll be just fine.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
TCF Stadium rocking right now at halftime. The Gophers lead the 15th ranked team in the country 16-14 for that Little Brown Jug. And the band at halftime will show you a sped up version of another heartfelt moment here. If you're a Gopher fan, as they spell out Jerry for Jerry Kill, their outgoing coach who resigned on Wednesday. I know he's home with Rebecca right now. He's smiling right now, Coach. 16-14. You know, here's the #1 team defensively in the country. Minnesota's pushing them around right now. Most passing yards, more total yards than any single game, really.
And they're doing it on both sides. I mean, Minnesota's offense has had good balance. Michigan's offense has not had the same kind of balance, only 45 yards rushing. They're going to get the ball to start the third quarter, and I'm sure that's what Jim Harbaugh was telling his team. We've got to get better at running the football. The 2 games they've lost this year, Utah and Michigan State, they did not run the ball well. Under 75 yards in both of those games. Only 45 yards in the first half tonight.
That sideline still fired up as we start the third quarter. The Gophers in the lead and kicking off to Peppers and Chesson. And again, Santoso doesn't give him an opportunity for a return as we check in third member of our team, Holly Rowe. Holly.
Well, because Michigan had just 45 yards rushing in the first half, and the biggest rush was 9 yards by Jabril Peppers, I asked Coach Harbaugh, how do you run the ball better? He said, we just have to be more fast and physical up front. He said that they are good on defense, even though they've given up as many yards as they have all season to this Minnesota defense. But the question is, how much can Jabril Peppers continue to play on offense? He's been in on so many plays, guys, returns, defense. And he's obviously their most explosive guy right now offensively.
Yeah, he's got a lot of snaps through 2 quarters. We open the third quarter. The Jake Rudock under Michigan offense at the 25. And Rudock play action. Throws, caught. And it's going to be a first down, and that's Amara Darboh.
You have a couple explosive guys on this Michigan offense. Darboh's one. I mean, Peppers certainly is dynamic, but Darboh is a guy who can run and make big plays. That's his 5th catch of the game on the little out route. And Chesson on the other side has only had 1 catch for 13 yards. He's another guy they've got to get involved in their offense.
Darboh's got 33 catches now for the year. That leads Michigan in receiving. Quick throw, wide out screen to Chesson. So they get those guys involved in back-to-back plays just like that. 7 more yards on the game.
Yeah, I mean, when you're struggling a little bit offensively, get those guys involved. First 2 plays of the third quarter are throws. Now that should help loosen up things for your running game a little bit as well.
2nd down and 3.
Right now, Michigan in with 6 offensive linemen, so a real heavy run formation right now.
Darboh in motion. Whoa, tailback is buried by Minnesota. Devondre Campbell was the first guy there on Derek Green. forces a third down.
Well, it's a little bit of a delayed blitz right here. He waits, he pauses for a half a second, reads it, and then comes clean for a play behind the line of scrimmage.
Peppers back in there now. It's 3rd down and 4.
Peppers is in the slot.
They give it to him. It's an end around, double reverse. Chesson's got room. 1st down and a bunch more. Out of bounds around the 34-yard line. Make it the 33.
See, whenever Peppers is on the field, you have to account for him. You know that he's a dynamic player. He draws a lot of attention. Everybody's thinking reverse to him. Double reverse. Nice call by the offensive coordinator, Tim Drebno. And all of a sudden here, Chesson, who was very quiet in the first half, has made a statement and made his presence felt in the 3rd quarter.
Ties for the longest pickup of the night for the offense of Michigan. 22 more yards. Johnson, big opening, 1st down run off the right side. He's all the way down to the 6.
Boy, what an impressive opening possession right now for the Michigan Wolverines. Watch the center, Glasgow, number 61, pull out in front of this play. He's the uncovered lineman. He pulls out, gets the lead block on the middle linebacker poke. And another good run on this impressive drive for the Wolverines.
1st and goal at the 6. Tonight, 2 for 2 in the red zone. Peppers is back in there.
Have to account for him anytime he's on. Shotgun.
He's going to take the snap. And Peppers heading to the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. First time we've seen him in the wild Wolverine, and he took it 6 yards for the score.
Good execution. Tight end's going to block down. Watch 84 block down. They pull the center and the left tackle, Mason Cole. And then a good hard-nosed run by Jabril Peppers. Lowers his shoulder and drives into the end zone. The early throws on this drive open things up for their running game later in the drive.
Kenneth Allen in for the point after. Can't ask for better than that from the Wolverines to open up the 3rd quarter on the road. They regain the lead on a 75-yard march in 7 plays. And Jabril Peppers says, I'll do this all by myself with a little help from my friends up front. Touchdown, Michigan, 21-16. Michigan regains the lead. 3rd lead change tonight. Wolverines 21-16.
Well, they had 45 yards rushing in the first half. They had 43 yards rushing on that drive. So message received in the locker room. And again, it was the early quick throws to their speed receivers that loosened up this Minnesota defense.
Allen to kick with Myrick and May back deep for Minnesota. Myrick from the 6. Hit at the 20 and goes down at the 21. Rodney Smith is behind him in the Minnesota backfield. Here comes the play fake. The throw is complete to May. And 2nd down and 3. Michigan thinking about a blitz. Leidner stands up. So does his fullback and his tailback Smith. As they change things up. Going to have to hustle. 2 on the clock. They got it off. And the run is going to be good enough for a 1st down, it looks like. And that's some tough sledding right there for Rodney Smith.
These 2 young running backs really run hard. I mean, they are both physical kids. Rodney Smith, the redshirt freshman out of Georgia. Shannon Brooks, the true freshman.
Smith, the son of a coach. Shannon Brooks, Class 4A Player of the Year in Georgia last year. Over 2,200 yards rushing. 32 touchdowns at Pickens High School. And a 1st down at the 23.
Well, I'd get right under center and go sneak here. It's less than a yard.
Oh, it's 3rd and 1. I beg your pardon. Leidner heading to the end zone. Touchdown. touchdown for the Minnesota quarterback.
This guy's been good tonight.
Sure has.
He has made good decisions. He's been a leader. Making his former coach, Jerry Kill, proud.
Santoso for the point after. Another lead change in Minneapolis, 4th of the night. A short field after the penalty on the punt return. 33 yards in 3 plays. The last 24. The tough guy quarterback. Gophers playing for the Little Brown Jug with some emotion. Lead in Minneapolis. Fans are getting their money's worth on this Halloween night. There's a guy that's been covering the Gophers for 71 years. Sid Hartman. A young 95 years old, as Sid always says on his radio show on WCCO or in his newspaper column in the Star Tribune. A close personal friend of mine. That's what he calls everybody, but Sid and I are actually close personal friends. Can you imagine covering one team for 71 years? He's watched a lot of Gopher football. He was pretty emphatic in his column the other day about the Minnesota presidency and the interim athletic director making the current staff here in Minnesota a permanent one. We'll wait and see if that happens.
Now another power set. An extra offensive lineman. So 6 offensive linemen in the game now for Michigan.
Play action. Rudock all day to throw, and now he's going to run with it. Whoa, and he got hit and the helmet comes off. He was trying to get down. He never made it to the turf. He's on the turf now, and his head coach is coming out in a hurry. Jack Lynn, I think, is the guy that made the hit, and it didn't look good.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
Good decision to run. Get a positive gain. He starts to slide, and I don't think there was anything dirty on the play. It was just a good hit. He was hit from the backside.
Stelter was already airborne, it appeared, and you can't change your flight pattern. There's 99 coming in. He's just going over the top. Jake Rudock went off under his own power. A lot of his teammates coming over patting him on the head. That's not the spot you should pat him on the way to the sideline. As we take another look at that end of the run.
Again, just 2 hard hits. We showed you Shane Morris warming up. He was warming up with Wilton Spate, and Spate is the quarterback who's in the game right now. 6'6" sophomore out of Richmond, Virginia.
He's thrown 4 passes all year. He's not going to pass here, and the Gophers probably knew that. Drake Johnson with Steven Richardson all over him. Loss of a yard. They continue to look at Jake Rudock over on the sideline. Meanwhile, it's a 3rd down coming up. And do they let Spade throw a pass here? He's 0 for 4 throwing the football on the year. Spade under center. Play action. Has time. Buys himself some extra time. Got to let it rip pretty soon. And he throws it away.
That was really good coverage downfield by the Minnesota defense.
Might be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Well, Michigan's punting team comes out, but they won't kick it here. They'll wait and kick it in the other direction.
We talked about the change with the staff. Tracy Clay's on the sideline, not calling the defense.
Heck of a Big Ten game through 3 quarters. Who's going to own the 4th and the Little Brown Jug when it's over? We'll find out together. 4th quarter coming up. Doesn't want to keep the Little Brown Jug. Those are the guys that are responsible. The band and then the players in between quarters as we head to the 4th and final stanza. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Roll, our ESPN crew. Minnesota 15 minutes away from an upset. A lot of football left. Blake O'Neill to punt from his own goal line. This one should be returnable. Going to take a hop in front of May, and he's just going to cover it there.
Kick.
Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, Michigan does not disclose injury information, but Jake Rudock has come back out from the locker room. He does have his shoulder pads on, and it looks like he's going to try to throw a little bit here. I have not seen them give him a helmet back that would indicate maybe he's cleared, but Shane Morris and Rudock are going to try to throw a little bit right here. Let's see how he does.
And again, that's the hit he took in the third quarter.
If he's trying to throw, then he's cleared to play if he feels okay. Otherwise, there's no way they'd even let him touch a football. I think they need his presence if he can go.
Meanwhile, his counterpart, Leidner, hands it off. Rodney Smith popped out of the backside, still on his feet. Smith out to the 43-yard line. Pickup of 17.
Well, again, this is just good, hard running by Rodney Smith, number 24. He's just going to run hard up on the inside. Good block by the tight end, 86, leading the way. Lingen, who's made some nice catches.
This Michigan defense that had allowed 65 yards rushing on average coming into the night. Smith's almost got that many by himself. First down for the Gophers at the 43. Play action. Leidner down the middle. He's got Lingen, the tight end, again.
Well, we just mentioned Lingen with the block on the run before. This time they put him in short motion, and he slips out right underneath the tackle. Watch Lingen come in motion, and he's going to slip in right here between the guard and tackle and kind of goes undetected by the Michigan defense. Good execution, and another big pass play for Leidner.
And a perfect throw. Career high night for Brandon Lingen. 4 for 108. Minnesota at the Michigan 34. The lead and the ball, and their quarterback runs for a couple.
You know, in our production meeting this morning, Brad, I said for Minnesota to have a chance tonight, their quarterback has to play lights out. When Michigan State beat them 2 weeks ago, they stuffed the run, but Connor Cook threw for over 300 yards, and that was the difference in the game. Tonight, Mitch Leidner has played lights out. I mean, he's been a good decision maker. He's made big throws. He's at 226 yards and a touchdown, and he also had the long touchdown run.
The junior captain out of Lakeville, Minnesota, has had himself a night so far. Rodney Smith again. Got a couple. Going to bring up third down.
This is a Michigan defense that through the first 7 games was used to playing somewhere between 60 and 70 plays in the game. That was Minnesota's 51st play. And we're early in the fourth quarter.
You know, the time of possession's almost exactly even, but it doesn't seem that way right now. There's the numbers on the night. Come in averaging 9.3 allowed a game, which is number 1 not only in the Big Ten but the country. Third down and 6 for the Gophers. They're going to keep it on the ground. They won't get the first down. They get inside the 30. That's about it. The clock will work its way under 12 minutes as field goal unit comes on. This guy's been money tonight so far. Ryan Santoso.
It's going to be a long attempt here.
You know, his career long 52. That was against Purdue. This will be a 47-yard attempt. Trying to add to the Minnesota lead. Got another one. 47 for Santoso. The Gophers lead by 5. 11:43 to go. We got a good one brewing in Minneapolis. Well, you heard about winning one for the Gipper. How about winning one for Jerry? Coach Kill resigned on Wednesday. Calling it Jerry Soda tonight. And all over this building, there have been tributes to the coach. And right now, Minnesota 11 minutes and 43 seconds away from pulling an upset for Coach Kill. And they're playing for what's in that box. And that's a Little Brown Jug. the oldest trophy in college football, and something that Minnesota has had in its possession. We got a chance to take a picture with it yesterday in our meetings with the coaches, and that was the real one. They have a couple copies that fly around, the real babies in there, and the one we had in our meeting as well. Jim Harbaugh says they're taking the cork out of that thing. What do you think's inside? Those are the kind of questions Jim asks. And again, Michigan's got to start at the 25-yard line as we check in with Holly.
Well, Michigan quarterback Jake Rudock certainly has tried to get back in this game. He tried to throw, he tried to run, he was in a great deal of pain. I just saw him go up to Wilton Spate, the quarterback who's in the game now, and shake his head as if to say, I can't go. Spate leaned over and said, it's okay, I've got you. So it looks like Rudock's night is done.
This is a great place for Michigan to throw the football with Wilton Spate. Good field position, first down.
Here it comes, but he hasn't completed one all year. He has now to his tight end butt.
Before that play, Michigan had only had 46 yards on their last 4 drives. They'd had 3 3-and-outs. They got the short field after the punt. Great choice to throw the ball and to throw it to a big target, Jake Butt.
Jake Butt comes out after picking up 9. Remember, a short field here because of the sack on Leidner and then the punt, which was a short one from the end zone. So you're giving your quarterback a shot as he can see that end zone on the goalposts instead of being 75 yards away. Back to the ground game. Tough second effort. Maybe got Davion Smith a couple of yards. Jack Lynn in on the stop. And the clock works its way down under 7:45, and Smith is going to hobble off. And that'll bring Drake Johnson back out at the tailback spot. He got bent kind of funny at the end of that play, trying to eke out a yard or two and got bent backwards.
Jake Butt not in the game as well, who came out the play before. So 2 of their key offensive guys not on the field on this possession right now.
They do have a first down at the Minnesota 28. Spate throws complete to another tight end, Khalid Hill. And Hill picks up 7 or 8 as we check in with Adnan.
All right, thank you very much, Brad. I want to let you know what's happening with regards to Iowa State and Texas. Not looking good for Charlie Strong's Longhorns here. It's Joel Lanning to D'Andre Daly. 19 yards, 24-0 right now for Iowa State. That one's almost done. Back to you, Brad.
All right, and at the 20-yard line, Michigan driving under 7 minutes to go in regulation.
2 good, safe throws on first down, second down, and short. Good way of managing the young quarterback.
Now it's Drake Johnson trying to follow his blockers and does it nicely to the 12-yard line. Jake Butt, by the way, the tight end's back in there.
Not only back in, but getting a key block on the play. Here he is on the end of the line. Getting a nice block on the linebacker, Jack Lynn, to get the corner for Drake Johnson, and another first down. Such
a valuable commodity to have a tight end that's an inline blocking guy, can still run downfield and catch it 30 yards down.
And with a young quarterback, those tight ends in the middle of the field, right in his vision, big targets, they're nice things to have.
Spate in the gun from the 12. They keep it on the ground, and inside the 10 goes Drake Johnson. And the clock will work its way under 6 minutes.
See, unlike the Minnesota offense with Leidner at quarterback, Michigan's offense doesn't really show the quarterback pulling that ball and running. So Minnesota really locked in to the running back on those zone-type plays.
Jabril Peppers is back in on offense again.
In the Wildcat again. The quarterback's out here.
A direct snap coming up to number 5. He's already scored 1 time tonight from 6 yards out. This time looked like he wanted to throw. He'll pull it down and lose a couple.
He was looking for Jake Butt. Minnesota had him double covered. That's smart to let him try to throw it, because you're thinking Minnesota's thinking run all the way, but Jake Butt is double covered and he has nowhere to go with the football. Good, solid, fundamental defense by Minnesota, bringing up 3rd down and 10 or 9.
80 plays tonight. Line of scrimmage, the 12 now. Wolverines can get a first down at the 2 with 5 minutes to go. Play action, Spate throwing to the end zone. Got his man. Touchdown, Michigan. And it's J.U. Chesson. 12-yard touchdown pass by the backup quarterback who hadn't completed a pass all year until this fourth quarter.
Well, first of all, they put 6 offensive linemen in here. They took the tight end Bud out and brought another lineman in to have great protection, and Spate threw it on time to Chesson. That's the second time Chesson has scored out of that stacked formation, running the post, and that time a beautiful throw.
Michigan's going for 2 to try to make it a 3-point game because Minnesota has all its timeouts and 5 minutes to work. Empty backfield. 3 wide outs to the top and the tailback down to the bottom of your screen for Spate. Waits and waits. Throws at the last moment and got it for the 2-point conversion to Darnold.
Well, this is a quarterback that is starting to feel good about himself on this drive. He's looking left all the way on this. Watch his eyes. Left, left, left. Start to scramble. Eyes go right. 2-point conversion, good.
Nice drive by Spate and the Michigan Wolverines to regain the lead. And now Minnesota will work from the 25-yard line. They pull out their tight end, who's been their biggest weapon right now, and go with 3 wide receivers. They'll keep it on the ground anyway. And good run, got some of the yardage back. Bolden made the tackle on Smith.
24 Smith, ball carrier.
And now Lincoln comes back in.
Now, right now, Leidner's just got to think on this play, I got to get part of this yardage back.
Yeah.
I want to try to get it to about 3rd and 7 or 8 if I can. Not trying to get it all back in one throw here.
2:52 tonight for Mitch so far. Play action. He is going for a chunk, but there's nobody out there. Closest guy was Wozniak, his other tight end. It was way over his head.
Well, if you're over Wozniak's head, you threw that ball really high because he's 6'10". And he's being guarded by Peppers. And again, that's not a favorable matchup because Peppers guards everybody.
Remember last year they had a great tight end. Went to the NFL with the Ravens. Max Williams was an All-American. KJ Mays only got 1 catch in the second half. They could use 1 out of him right now. 3rd down and 17. And that's May in motion. They fake it to him. Middle screen. Rodney Smith broke out of there, and he might have a first down.
What an effort by Rodney Smith. There were 2 Michigan Wolverines that were going to stop this for a very short game. And I don't know if it's fatigue or if it's just tough, hard-nosed running by the freshman Rodney Smith. Watch this. 2 guys. 2 veteran linebackers both missed the play. Desmond Morgan and James Ross both had a shot at him. Neither one could get him on the ground.
First catch by a Minnesota running back, and on 3rd and 17, it goes for 17 and about 6 inches. And here's the guy that got it. And now he bounces outside. Nice stiff arm, good run. We're down at 3:18 as he goes out of bounds. Jared Wilson pushes him out, and Rodney Smith says, "Coach, I need a quick breather," and that means Shannon Brooks comes back in.
Gerard Wilson getting up a little bit gimpy on that play. The safety trying to bounce it off, shake it off right now, but he doesn't look like he's 100%.
Shannon Brooks in the backfield with Leidner. KJ May in motion. Leidner fires, and what a catch by May. We just said he'd only had 1 grab in the half. A 14-yard strike that time from Leidner.
Well, he worked inside of Jordan Lewis, number 26, and this might have been the best throw of the night by Leidner. I mean, there is no air under that. That is a shot right in there to KJ May against tight coverage, but a perfect throw.
Minnesota at the 44 of Michigan. 2.5 to go. And now it's Leidner keeping it himself. Puts his head down, picks up 5 more.
Tracy Claeys in his first job as the interim head coach. In quite a tussle here. He's going to have some decisions to make as we go down the stretch here. Is he playing aggressively to try to get to the end zone? Or is he playing to set up a field goal to put this game in overtime?
Under 2 minutes, 2nd down and 5. Lincoln, the tight end, on the move. Straight ahead to the line of scrimmage is all for Shannon Brooks as James Ross made the stop.
27 Brooks with ball carrier.
And we're going to have a 3rd down and 5 coming up.
We mentioned that Tracy Claeys has been with Jerry Kill for 21 years. The offensive coordinator, Matt Limegrover, has been with them just about the same amount of time. This staff, a lot of continuity, very familiar with each other, and that pays off in a situation like this right here.
Both tight ends shift over to the left side. Leidner in the gun. Michigan thinking about a blitz. They bring it. Leidner's got to get rid of it way before he wanted to. The blitz paid off. Taco Charlton got in there, got pressure on him, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, nice call by DJ Durkin, the defensive coordinator. Brought 2 guys from the outside, and Minnesota didn't have enough blockers. Got 2 guys coming here. They can't block them. They can only try to pick up one, and Leidner does everything he can just to get rid of the football.
Ledge here's the ball game. They're in no man's land at the 39. Too long for a field goal to tie. 4th down and 5 to keep the drive alive and the dream alive to pull an upset. Here's the play of the game. Again, the pressure coming. Leidner down the middle. Oh, what a catch by KJ May.
Wow.
There is no way he gets this ball, but somehow he did.
That's 2 catches in a row on Jordan Lewis, who has excellent coverage. And even though the ball touches the ground, it is a secure catch by KJ May. I think you try to win it with a touchdown and stay aggressive with a hot quarterback in Mitch Leidner.
Rodney Smith is back in there at tailback after getting a breather for a couple of plays. Leidner's going to keep. Tripped up, or he might have had a 1st down.
Now, that had to be Peppers again, right?
It was.
I mean, that was a big play, potentially a touchdown, if not for Jabril Peppers. Watch number 5 just flash and catch the ankle of Leidner.
Clock is running. At the 23-yard line, we're going to be down to 30 seconds by the time the Gophers take this snap. Leidner, pump fakes, wants it all, goes to the corner, got it! Wolverines, touchdown! The expression hasn't changed on the interim coach's face. It might in 19 seconds, though.
Well, this was beautiful. They used the same formation that they've used to throw the slant to KJ May. They take Wolverines out in motion away, and then the double move. He fakes the slant and then breaks it back outside, and they stayed aggressive. Now, his knee may have touched down before the ball crossed the plane, but what an aggressive play call to attack the end zone with a hot quarterback. Boy, they set that up.
After review, the receiver caught the pass, but was down short of the goal line. It will be Minnesota's ball, 1st and goal at the 1/2-yard line.
That close.
If they're going to wind the clock, you have to be ready to go and maybe save that timeout. Run one play here, and if you don't get in on this play, then you use a timeout.
Leidner under center. Remember, he's already run for 1 touchdown tonight. They got a full house backfield behind him. The center judge is going to trot out of the way.
There goes the clock.
There goes the clock. 17, 16, 15. Now they shift. Leidner's going to go into the gun with 10. 9, 8, got to hustle. Leidner rolls to throw. He's in trouble. Lobs it incomplete, and there's only 2 seconds left in the game.
Boy, I don't know if Leidner knew that they were winding the clock, because that play and all the shifting took so much time, and Jim Harbaugh was racing down the sideline to call timeout. And good thing for him that they didn't get the call.
And now Minnesota takes its final timeout.
I just don't know whether anybody on the Minnesota sideline knew that they were going to wind the clock, because they had so much motion and movement in that formation. They wasted about 10 seconds.
And then they're at the half-yard line with a 240-pound quarterback who can run, and they shifted into the shotgun.
I really think, Brad, that they were not aware that the clock was going to start up.
And Minnesota is going to play to win for the Little Brown Jug on the final play. They're out of timeouts. Obviously, there's one snap, barring a defensive penalty, or it's over. And they're that close to the goal line. Leidner under center. Full house behind him. He'll try to do it himself. Did he get there? No signal, no touchdown. Michigan has won it. The Wolverines somehow survive when it looked like Minnesota was going to be able to retain the Little Brown Jug.
Watch the leverage. Watch how low that front gets for Michigan. They get underneath the Minnesota linemen and drive them back. And even though Leidner's 240 pounds, he doesn't get close to getting the ball in the end zone. And I just think, as valiant of an effort that Minnesota had tonight, and their quarterback, those last 2 plays, wow.
And Michigan survives a scare in Minneapolis to go to 6-2 and 3-1. And there comes the Little Brown Jug that Minnesota has had since last year. And now it's heading to Ann Arbor.
Boy. What a ball game.
What a great game. Michigan goes home with a hard-fought 29-26 win. For Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire ESPN crew, Brad Nessler saying so long from Minneapolis. Bob Wischusen and the guys, Stanford and Washington State, up next.